this morning's program with Introduction to Foundation Day by Dr.
Video start great. We have to go closer. There's some echo, some problem. Not able to hear properly.
Dr. Munshi, please. Dr. Meenakshi Munshi, please.
Thank you, Sandhya. Respected Dr. Manju, former Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Mr. K. VijayRaghavan, former
We can't hear anything. Meenakshi, you are on mute. We can't hear anything.
वहाँ से तो नहीं सबमिट किया आपने? Morning. Am I audible now?
Yes.
As you are aware that Department of Biotechnology, set up more than 3 decades ago, has been in creating a strong foundation to contribute towards nation's department has been committed towards creation of policy framework, promotion of excellence and innovation, support discovery research, fundamental and applied research in areas of agriculture, affordable healthcare, medical biotechnology, animal and aquatic sciences, environmental safety, new generation of biofuels, nutritional security. Besides, impetus is also on taking fruits of biotechnology to the community at a large. Department is committed towards capacity building and nurturing talent by supporting various programs. These efforts are furthered both at national and international level through high quality research and translational activities of the 16 autonomous institutions, each having a specific mandate. We are fortunate to have today with us a panel of distinguished scientists and subject experts who will dwell upon biotechnology growth in the country. Later in the afternoon, this Foundation Day ceremony will be graced by our Honorable Minister Dr. Harshvardhan ji. He will give away the Bright Awards and address the gathering. Once again, a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us to celebrate this day.
Thank you, Dr. Munshi. I now call upon Secretary DBT Dr. Renu Swarup to kindly deliver the welcome address.
A very good morning to all of you, and this is indeed a great pleasure to be here on this very important day, the 35th Foundation Day of the department. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you share my slide, please? The 35 years journey of the Department of Biotechnology. Today we are celebrating all our distinguished leaders. Professor VijayRaghavan, thank you very much, sir, for being here. Dr. Manju Sharma will be joining us in a short while. She's presiding over the NASI program. We also have with us distinguished speakers, Professor Padmanaban, Dr. Balaram, Professor Vijay Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, Deepanwita, all those who have been part of this journey of the department in 35 years. I will take you through a few slides which bring to us this journey of this department. This is the front page of the Gazette notification when in 1986 the department was set up as a separate department. It's very important that through these 35 years we have moved from setting up the initial foundation of the biotechnology where we stand today in terms of not only having a very robust ecosystem, but also contributing to this large DBT family, which is DBT, its public sectors, its autonomous institutions, but every laboratory in the country which is associated with biotechnology and associated with the Department of Biotechnology, which has contributed to this journey. As we moved on, we had the first biotechnology vision in 2001. And this vision, when we had put out in 2001, actually set the path for looking at biotechnology. And by that time, we had established a very strong foundation and we had a 10-year perspective that we laid out for ourselves. It said attaining new heights in biotechnology research, shaping biotechnology into a premier precision tool of the future for creation of wealth and ensuring social justice, especially to the welfare of the poor. The next couple of slides I will present to you will be the subsequent strategies which have been brought out, but you'll see there's a common thread that goes on. Biotechnology has worked through these 35 years with all the various stakeholders, the ministries, the private sector, the international bodies, keeping in mind two things. How do we promote this knowledge generation? How do we shape the biotechnology sector, use the tools of biotechnology to be able to contribute not just to the creation of wealth, but also to the society and for the welfare. So it's basically accessible, affordable innovations, looking at new knowledge generation, taking it ahead. We have the biotech strategy, the National Biotechnology Development Strategy that we brought out in 2007. And here again, we spoke about moving from the knowledge generation, looking at how do we bring in about setting up the whole enterprise. While enabling the full utilization of the opportunities for manufacturing and services, it also said that we lay a strong foundation for discovery and innovation. Effectively, essential due to the long-term benefits in agriculture, animal productivity, human health, environmental security, sustainable industrial growth. This was really what was brought out as the vision at that time in 2007. We then had the Biotechnology Strategy 2015. We had a renewed mission that we brought out and we said launch a major, well-directed mission backed up with significant investment for generation of biotech products. You can see the journey of biotechnology moving from the knowledge generation to where we stand today in terms of generation of new products, in terms of generation of new technologies, more importantly, creating a very strong ecosystem which then contributes to the growth of the bioeconomy. As we moved on with this, you see that in these last 35 years, we have moved from discovery to the innovation to the enterprise. 4 major verticals on which the whole biotechnology sector is being supported. At this point of time, I would like to pay our tributes to our founder, Secretary Dr. S. Ramachandran. We have the S. Ramachandran Bioscience Career Awards in his name, which will be given later this afternoon. In fact, Dr. Vardhan, our Honorable Minister, will be presiding over the award function. Dr. Bhatia, I did try to see if he can join us today, but he's not keeping too well. And we hope that he keeps good health so that we can continue to have his blessings. Dr. Manju Sharma will be joining us a little while from now. We fondly remember Dr. M.K. Bhan. His contribution to building this ecosystem has been, again, very important. We have the Dr. M.K. Bhan Young Researcher Fellowship, which were announced last year, and we hope that we will be able to take that forward in his name. Thank you very much, Professor VijayRaghavan, sir, for being here. Your leadership for taking this department through that growth trajectory, into that phase of moving from where we set up the innovation ecosystem to the translation to where today biotechnology occupies a very important role. And we all saw how we did that in the last year in our fight against COVID. The fight against COVID was just one example. And we are hoping that as we move beyond the pandemic, this learning is going to take us to be able to deliver with the same sense of urgency, responsibility, coordination, and more than anything else, a collective ownership of the goal with which we are going to achieve the success. We have today, as I said right in the beginning, our autonomous institutes, all 16 of them, which played a very important key role, and they continue to do that in supporting right from basic research to translational research. Our public sectors, BIRAC, which has been in the center of this entire COVID fight that we have had for taking industry academia programs forward, whether it's the National Biopharma Mission, whether it's the Mission COVID Suraksha, and other related activities. BIPFOL, which has again been associated with many of these COVID-related activities, we hope they can play a major role in the vaccine development as we move forward, manufacture as we move forward. But as I said, the large number of institutes and most of the awardees who are with us today here, the groups who have joined us as participants, the delegates who joined us, you'll see that we have a large community, more than 100 institutes, universities, laboratories which have been supported. Our capacity building program, we have 100 PG program centers. For our biotechnology information systems, we have another about 100 centers across the country which have been supported. Star colleges in more than 200 colleges across the country. Our SEHED infrastructure, which has again got all these universities, research institutes, autonomous institutes, the competitive grant projects, which are increasing as we move on, with nearly about 2,000 projects supported each year, more than 5,000 scientists at any given point of time. The innovation ecosystem that we set up nearly about 60 incubators supported, regional centers, and most importantly, our international collaborations cover more than 20 to 25 countries which we have excellent bilateral cooperation in addition to the multilateral cooperation, and across within the government working with all the related ministries. This large and vast activity that we have been able to set up, we've been able to work on, is not been possible without the hard work which the Department of Biotechnology's own officers have put in working with everybody. So today, I would like to congratulate everybody, thank everybody, and the large expert network and mentor pool that we have. More than 700 to 1,000 scientists.
What division?
And the what is?
Ministers and all.
This is very
our young researchers being part of our decision making. I think this is really what we owe to them. And today the biotechnology growth is because of them. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank each of you. I do not have to say what biotechnology has impacted because you have been part of that journey. So I cannot really tell you what biotechnology has impacted within the country. We've all seen it. But I can only say this, moving forward, and I have the last slide, moving forward, you've all been part of our Honorable Prime Minister, when he had addressed us last year in the Grand Challenges meeting, this is exactly what he said. In India, we have a strong and vibrant scientific community. We also have good scientific institutions. They've been India's greatest success, especially during the last few months while fighting COVID-19. So this was acknowledged by the Honorable Prime Minister, and this again is a congratulation to each scientist who's been associated with the journey of this department. Next slide. Okay, so that is where I conclude, but I would like to say as we move forward, we are moving into the next strategy, into our next 5 years. You all have all been part of the stakeholder consultations and discussions, and we hope in the next 5 years, we would only be able to take this to the next level. We have ambitious targets, $150 billion industry, biotech industry with $100 billion biomanufacturing. This is not going to be possible without the continued leadership that we are going to have, without the continued strength that each one of you will bring to it, and with the determination with which we've been able to do so far. Thank you very much, and wish everybody the best on this 35th Foundation Day of the Department. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking the audience through department's journey over the years and down to the again. I now invite Professor K. VijayRaghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, at this virtual gathering.
Thank you very much, Sandhya. Good morning, everybody. Dr. Renu, Swarup, Professor Padmanaban, Professor Balaram, and particularly all the officers and scientists at the Department of Biotechnology. In this long journey, the amazing, could someone who's unmuted please mute? There's some feedback coming. Yeah, thank you. This has been an incredible journey of the Department of Biotechnology. And as biologists, we can do two kinds of tests to see whether the department is relevant. One is called a deletion test, and we can pretend what would the situation be if the department were not there. And if you do that test, you will find that what the department has accomplished is so extraordinary that, by the deletion test, the department has been successful. There's no question about that. And that success is due to all the extraordinary officers who have been interacting with the broader ecosystem, our scientists, to accomplish what has happened under very, very difficult circumstances. You just have to see the physical location of our offices, how difficult it is, how difficult it is to deal with complex problems through our system. And that has not deterred the officers from getting things done, even while the system and the processes keep improving. So kudos to them. And Renu has already articulated the history and what different programs and strategies have done. I will not reiterate that. Now, there's another test we can do, which is a gain of function test, and ask, is it valuable if the department gains function? And if so, what value would that bring? And that is what I'll focus on address. And my contention is simple, that a gain of function for the Department of Biotechnology is very, very important. The loss of function, the deletion test has proven how important it is, and the gain of function will also be very valuable. What is the gain of function which we need to address for the Department of Biotechnology to show its role going ahead? And that comes from the extraordinary situation we face on the planet today. Part of that has been exemplified by what we saw last year during the COVID pandemic and continue to see in different ways. But its roots lie in a more fundamental problem. And that fundamental problem is the inexorable growth in a certain direction on our planet of industry and society, which has resulted in hundreds of millions, billions being lifted out of poverty, but has also resulted in the consequences we see due to climate change and what we see due to the ravages on the environment. In other words, our challenges going forth are how can we have sustainable development without affecting the environment and mitigating the consequences of climate change. Now, both climate change and environment has at its fundamentals extraordinary roots in biotechnology and biology. But before I get into that, let me point out that there's some critical features of the Department of Biotechnology, a critical set of nettles it has grasped, and we must continue to grasp those. At its start, the Department of Biotechnology could have very easily become, if it addressed the problems of its day at the start, it could have very easily become the Department of Fermentation Technology of the government of India, because that is what biotechnology principally meant in its broad term. It didn't do that. It took on challenges and put in place processes to cover the entire spectrum from the foundations connected to industry of all of biotechnology, not only of that time, but of the future. And that's why, it has proven to be very valuable. Similarly, going ahead, we face extraordinary challenges, as I said. But in theory, someone might argue that those challenges could be solved by the Department of Pharma, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Health Research, the Ministry of Environment, and so on and so forth. Why do you need the Department of Biotechnology? And the answer is that none of these structures by themselves can work in an integrative manner, which the Department of Biotechnology can and has shown. Now, going ahead, these challenges of requiring to work together are even greater, and only the Department of Biotechnology can play that synergistic, integrative role. And therefore, it has to do three different things. First of all, it should be the one-stop pan-government shop for an integrative view of biology, which is what is needed in today's world, where climate change and biodiversity wreak havoc. Damages wreak havoc on us. Now that means, a deep understanding of biology on one side and a deep connect with society on the other. The deep understanding of biology comes both through our autonomous institutions and through other institutions all over the country, and that needs to be strengthened. Today, the reach of our science agencies is limited to largely central government institutions and universities, and there only about 10% of our students go. 90% of our students go to state government universities and colleges, and expanding the footprint of research across the spectrum into those areas is critically important if one needs to have a robust research program in general and in biotechnology in particular. The second point is that we, as I've said earlier, and I'll reiterate, that we need to be the one-stop integrating structure between all the different ministries in a comprehensive view about biology and biotechnology. So that's something which transcends chemistry, environment, biotechnology, health, agriculture, energy, and so on. That's being done, but that now needs to scale in a new context where genuinely proposals and decisions taken are genuinely integrated. This would require a partnership program with other ministries, but more fundamentally, partnership programs with ministries which involve the collection and analysis of data. While our biologists have done exceptionally well, there is still a tendency to feel uncomfortable with the large-scale analysis of data, and that needs to become something which is normal, and that needs to connect with industry. Now, the third point is connection with industry. And there, our industry, in some ways, deeply connected with our environment through entrepreneurships and startups, particularly in recent times, but in other ways, in larger industry, not enough connected, have done reasonably well. This connection has to deepen enormously, and there should be a seamless flow of people, of researchers between industry and academia, including the DBT-aided institutions. All said and done, the numbers of faculty members involved in starting companies in our institutions, in our universities, biotechnology is very small. You can count them in fingers of a hand or two. That should become, it's much better now than earlier, but that should amplify enormously. Similarly, partnership with big industry needs to be normal if industry's risk is to be mitigated in investment in R&D. Finally, There are bigger issues of policy where the Department of Biotechnology needs to take the lead in terms of regulatory processes made simple. A lot of the work has already been done. More will constantly need to be done as the environment changes. And that regulatory facilitation should enable industry and academia to do research, both research in terms of taking products to the market, but also research in handling the enormous richness of our biodiversity in sustainable manner. So from basic research to partnership with entrepreneurship, with industry and startup, the extraordinary set of people we have in the Department of Biotechnology interacting with the broader ecosystem will allow a gain of function which will amplify the reach of Department of Biotechnology and also be a synergistic structure for cooperation which will have an enormous impact on our ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for providing biology, biotechnology landscape by a chemical engineer. Thank you very much. I solicit Professor G. Padmanaban, Honorary Professor IISc Bangalore, to kindly speak on building a strong and vibrant ecosystem. We don't see him in the dashboard.
And then we try and see if we can connect back with our professor. Yes, sir. Over to you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
The Professor VijayRaghavan, Dr. Swarup, Professor Balaram, and distinguished directors of DBT and officers of the DBT and many other colleagues, I was just musing on what was the environment when NPTB was started in 1982. I vaguely remembered about recombinant growth hormone, insulin, and a cross-check. Yes, that was the time when these were all commercially permitted, FDA approved, clinical trials were launched. And, 86, we know the biotechnology department was started. And that was the period probably even monoclonal antibodies came into being, the DNA fingerprinting, and, many revolutions were happening. And the DBT was catching up. And today we know clearly that the entire life science research of this country perhaps owes its gratitude to DBT. There is no doubt about it. I want to congratulate its 35 years of enormous contribution to life science research and also product development and so on. Well, there are many things which come up during the progress of this biotechnology in this field. If you look at, I don't want to get into each one of them, but some make a big splash and probably taper off. For example, you talk about PCR, and it has become a way of life. You talk about genome sequencing. It has totally changed the way we do research. But you look at gene therapy, I don't know, I got into it for a very short period, and I realized one step forward and two steps backwards. And we still do not know where gene therapy will lead us. I even think stem cell therapy, so much has been talked about stem cell therapy, beyond hematological applications or hematological diseases. I do not know where it is heading to. Our product, I believe, is still mesenchymal cells. That is a product that is sold as far as I can take up. Now, similarly, there are Dolly the sheep, if you remember. Splash, day in and day out, the media was talking about when human will be grown and things like that. But I do not know whether it is tapered down. or perhaps it is a tremendous application in farm animals. And that is perhaps the area where one needs to really pursue. Fortunately, I do believe DBT has had extraordinary leadership. We have had very good secretaries, to be very frank, right from the beginning. Dr. from Ramchandran, I don't want to name each one of them, but I remember Dr. Bhan calling me one night. GP, I want to start Sibiri, and that's the way he pronounces Sibiri. I said, what is Sibiri? I didn't know anything about Sibiri. And he said, this is, I have come from US and I know about Sibiri. This is what I want to start. I said, it's a great idea. And he simply told me, no, I will do it on one condition. I said, what is the condition? You should become chairman of the technical committee. I was a bit surprised. I said, what is the credential I have? He simply, Pat came to reply, you have no agenda of your own. And then put the phone down. This is something very typical of him. And I have been chairing this committee right from that, and I do not know how long it goes. But some things, I realized Dr. Swarup has worked very hard at the back. Whether it is, Sibri, whether it is BioRag, and, National Biopharma Mission, and then, the Indian Genome Project has come into after she became secretary, then the data center. I think these are all probably very, very important. Perhaps should have been done maybe 3-4 decades ago, because I remember we are still putting out data where Dr. VijayRaghavan briefly mentioned, NCBI, EMBL, and we have a long way to go. These are massive exercises in my opinion. Even, 10,000 Indians, it is a drop in the ocean, but we have to start somewhere. So some of these, extraordinary steps have been taken. I want to compliment DBT for that. But, I should also acknowledge COVID really brought out the gaps in our system. We started with one laboratory doing RT-PCR. Fortunately, we are able to scale up to 1,500, I am told. We have 1,500 labs today doing RT-PCR. But, we were not ready. I still feel now, I think I pointed this out on December 31st meeting. We are talking about variants in COVID, for example. Now, variants we are going to analyze only by sequencing. And Dr. Swarup did say, like UK pointed out the consortia, she said, we are also performing the consortium. But despite that, I still think we are way below, maybe 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 versus 400,000 sequence. My feeling is, without that kind of an effort, we are not going to see variants. We are not going to see mutations. This is where, and my only plea is, I want to repeat this. While many institutions are involved, it is always a faculty. And the faculty will do also sequencing in addition to their own research. I don't think that is the way it should work. In my opinion, this should be a separate cell, whether it is sequence, whether it is assays. We were also very deficient in assays, we soon found out. Each one should be a separate cell. And this must be manned by a separate set of people. And of course, the issue will come. I know Dr. Barr had this problem in THSTI, technical officers versus regular cadre and so on. Perhaps they should all come under a structure of BioRag, because you have opportunity to compensate them in terms of salary, and every 5 years the whole program gets renewed. I know I'm just taking. I don't know if that's the right way to do, but somehow I feel we need to have independent cells that only do sequencing, that only do assays. They cannot be mixed up with faculty doing research and also trying to do some of that. Is my feeling. We have to catch up the scale we need. That is where I feel we need to go. Similarly, I should mute. I also a bit disappointed about the GM crops in the country. I have been a proponent of that, but I think it's probably dying a natural death. I at least thought it should have gone to horticulture and vegetable crops. Huge numbers have been done in everywhere, but perhaps it will get replaced by gene editing. But even gene editing, I'm a bit concerned. Despite the best effort of DBT, I don't know how much policy-wise we are there. Otherwise, what can happen? It will also go the GM way. We already know that US is already putting a lot of effort in agriculture. Many products have come. Of course, that guy, Chinese, he did a misadventure, he did the human embryo and got into trouble. Huge criticism was there. That is in the mammalian system application. But at least in agriculture, I feel, gene editing should move. I know policies, SDN 1, 2, 3, all that we have made, but we really need to catch up forward. And the other one is synthetic biology. So much is being talked about. And all the time I find there is a difference in perception between the United States and Europe in terms of regulatory affairs. And we seem to take up the European route. So I really do not know, this is not my cup of tea, but these are all policy issues which we really take it by the horn and really move forward if we have to. The last point I feel is the biggest thing that has happened to this country is the startup. To my mind, I do see a perceptible change in academia who do want to do translation. Many, substantial number, if not a majority. And I think, the linkage will be through startups. Most of them are our own students, our own colleagues, who have been, but they have taken the risk out to become startups. So to my mind, almost every institution should have startups, academic institutions. I really do not know whether DBT institutes, all of them have startups. There should be provision, there must be provision for them, because this is the linkage where the academia, where the scientists need not really worry, where the startup is prepared to take up your idea and move forward. And I think, this is how probably even industry would benefit. So far as industry is concerned, they would be very happy importing clones, importing CAR T cells, whatever. But they have no time for R&D, basically. So I feel, the startup culture probably would help in this. I think that is about the end of what I really wanted to convey. I really wanted to congratulate once again DBT for enormous contributions they have made, and without which there could not have been any life science research work this level at this point of time after 30 years of continuous support. But the expectations are a lot more, and we will keep demanding that so long as old people like me are around. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I now request Balaram, Honorary Professor IISc Bangalore, to seek the floor to speak building a strong research foundation.
Mr. Balaram.
Professor Balaram?
Yeah, my apologies. I couldn't hear what was said. Can you hear me? I must begin by wishing everyone at DBT the very best on this anniversary day. My earliest memory of the precursors of DBT goes back a long way to 1982 or 83. As a young man, I attended a meeting organized to make a scientific presentation to an international UNESCO committee tasked with evaluating sites for the location of the components of the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, ICGEB. Professor M.G.K. Menon chaired the meeting, And most remarkably, Dr. S. Ramachandran, later the first secretary of the DBT, and Dr. S. Vardhan, then Secretary DST, helped in operating slide projector, which in those days always misbehaved. This was the pre-overhead projector era and decades before PowerPoint. In the years that have followed, I've had the privilege and pleasure of interacting with the DBT at various levels. Successive secretaries have brought great passion and commitment to promoting biotechnology. We really miss Dr. S. Ramachandran and Dr. M.K. Bhan today, but it is wonderful to see and hear both Dr. Manju Sharma and Dr. VijayRaghavan. For me personally, it has been most educational to watch the growth and transformation of DBT over the years, as challenges and opportunities have arisen, and science has been revolutionized by constant advances in new methods and technologies. The progress of the biological sciences over the last few decades has been driven, and here I use Freeman Dyson's famous phrase, it's been driven more by new technologies than by new concepts. Genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, and many other new terms like gene editing roll comfortably off the tongues of both administrators and young investigators. Translation is the term that rules discourse within the DBT. In its early years, capacity building was the dominant theme, leading to the growth of many academic centers, pursuing basic science and training a new generation of students. This was the foundation. Today, on an anniversary, it is important to celebrate past and present triumphs. It is even more important to introspect on the present and ask questions about the future. As a basic scientist, I have felt that much has been lost or deeply buried in the rush to translation. Funding priorities have become skewed towards large multi-institutional projects, promise much but deliver modestly. Facility creation and discussions of revenue generation by instruments funded for research. This ambience at the DBT has transformed the thinking of scientists, and it is sometimes disconcerting to hear discussions in peer groups where new methods are not even superficially understood and basic research dismissed in cavalier fashion. Sometimes it is not the fault of the DBT, but it is really the fault of the scientific community which has grown over the years. Human resource development programs are now on a low priority. Even the DBT postdoctoral fellowship numbers have not kept pace with the expanding number of PhDs produced in the biological sciences in India. Broad-based expansion of fellowships programs is needed to address the growing problem of unemployment and underemployment amongst trained PhD holders. This, I think, is a very important problem today because we have large numbers of young people who now get PhDs, who even spend years as postdocs, but they are unable to secure appropriate employment. Individual investigator-driven projects need greater trust, even as the number of investigators has expanded with the growth in new institutions. We keep creating institutions, we hire more investigators, and then we find that funding them has become difficult. There are two buzzwords, biotechnology and nanotechnology, which are sometimes combined into an even more subversive term, nanobiotechnology. These terms, I believe, have done great damage to the scientific disciplines from which they have emerged. The coronavirus has demonstrated the power of biology, the power of nature. For the very first time in living memory, biology has trumped our most popular subjects, politics and religion. The terms RT-PCR, seropositive, and herd immunity are now commonplace in everyday conversations. On this anniversary, I might, from the pedestal of age, make a call for DBT to return to its roots so that fundamental science does not get lost in translation. No major technological advance has ever happened without a revolution in the underlying science. DBT has been the key driver of the biological sciences in India over the last 3 decades. I can only wish that as we approach DBT at 50, the pace of progress will intensify and new and wonderful science will emerge from our many laboratories. Thank you very much and all good wishes to the DBT.
Thank you, sir. We are now next Professor VijayRaghavan, Secretary of Science at IISc Bangalore. Building a strong mind.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. At the outset, I would want to congratulate and give heartfelt greetings to DBT on its 35th anniversary. As a biologist, as a neuroscientist who started my career way back in 1985, I know personally I have a lot to thank DBT for, because like a lot of us biologists, it was this funding that was so important for us to initiate our own research. And as just now told by Professor Balaram, the DBT's individual research funding mechanism has been the bedrock of biology research in this country. And today, if we are reaping the rewards of translation, it has come from that fundamental fact that DBT supported biology research and continues to do so. I want to briefly tell you about the neuroscience ecosystem here in the country and what role DBT has played and what it will continue to do, because that was what was being talked to today. So the study of the brain, as most of you know, involves studying the brain at different levels of organization, going from molecules to neural circuits to behavior. And embedded in this is the computational and mathematical sciences that play a very important role in our understanding of how brain functions. And of course, while we talk about the fundamental understanding of the brain, which is what makes us what we are, it's also important to remember that the disease burden that brain disorders cause, as in terms of morbidity, whether it is childhood disorders, mental illnesses, or aging-related disorders such as dementia, contributes to over 30% of the total disease burden in countries like India. And this burden is enormous. It's not measured in terms of mortality, but in terms of morbidity, both in terms of the patient as well as the caregivers. So the vision that DBT had, that way back in 1997, Dr. Manju Sharma announced the creation of the National Brain Research Center. And when this announcement was made by Dr. Sharma, there was a uniqueness to it. The mandate of NBRC was to be an apex coordination center for brain research, and it had a mandate to network with institutions. This, I think, showed such foresight and vision in terms of what Dr. Sharma did at that time, because it was important that as this nascent science was nurtured and capacity built in the country, it was important for us as neuroscientists to come together, share the resources we have, and start thinking about the major problems that we could address as neuroscientist community in India. It was a very, very small community 23 years ago. And in fact, I still remember that when we wanted to admit people with BTech degrees in computational science and give into a PhD program in neuro, no university would allow us to do that. So we could not even go and seek recognition from a university to allow us to do that. And it was Dr. Tandon and Dr. Manju Sharma who encouraged and supported me to go and seek deemed university status for NBRC. And within 2 years of its inception, we got the deemed university status. And that resulted in a building of truly interdisciplinary expertise in the country, where people with computational background came and learned how to work on the brain, and as well as people with biology came in and learned how to apply more precise mathematical tools in understanding the brain. Today, computational biology is a buzzword, and there's so many places. But way back, I think it was the vision of DBT that did it. And of course, NBRC grew very well. And I remember that one of the first things we did was to network with 42 institutions across the country and share our library resources through a library loan program, interlibrary loan program, one of the first digital libraries. And this network prospered very well as they came to use our facilities, whether it was the MRI, that again was funded by DBT, again a very something outstanding decision, because it was the first research MRI. And that is what gives us a window into the brain to understand its basic functions of how we perform those complex tasks that we do. In fact, NBRC's research MRI was the first research MRI, the second 3 Tesla machine in the country. Again, the vision of Dr. Manju Sharma that she did it. So today, as we think about it, we have a very vibrant ecosystem in the country for neuroscientists. Several institutions have neuroscience programs. Again, that was initiated as a part of the capacity building through the DBT's Human Resource Development Cell, that they supported MSc in neuroscience in several places around the country. And today, if there is a large, vibrant community, we definitely have DBT to thank for. But while we talk about this, we also realize that the funding and the support of this community as it's growing is a very big issue in the country. It is a big problem. Neuroscience is resource intensive. One would say biology is resource intensive, but the very interdisciplinary nature of neuroscience makes it even more resource intensive. And there is a need, even as we seek funding and try to build our laboratories, the need for cooperation among scientists to share, collaborate, and work together. I think the progress in the coming years will come, whether in neuroscience or elsewhere, through this aspect of sharing and collaborating together. Without that, it's really very, very difficult for an individual scientist to have the infrastructure to do really cutting-edge work that is happening today in neuroscience, to be able to pursue that kind of work, be it in terms of fundamental understanding of learning and memory, fundamental aspects of the brain, or to understand why people get dementia and what can we do to prevent it. I think in both ends of the spectrum, we need to cooperate and collaborate and share our resources. There is absolutely no doubt about this. And I think in this context, I would like to tell you here that, as you all know, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan gave a large sum of money, a gift to IISc that helped set up the Center for Brain Research. And just last week, as we were discussing, we thought, in addition to using the philanthropic funds for CBR to do its research on dementia that we are doing now, building large cohorts and studying them, we felt that we would also like to collaborate and fund other neuroscientists in our journey for understanding the aging brain. I think this is something new that we need to do, very important, that even as we get philanthropic money and we are trying to do the kind of research which requires large amount of funding, we bring the community together and support them so that they also are sharing with us on our journey to reduce the burden of elderly brain disorders and other. India is going to have 20% of people in India are going to be above the age of 60 by 2060. And if that is so, 20% of 1.5 billion or so that will be there is 300 million. They'll have a lot of people that we need to actually start thinking about. And there are both fundamental aspects of how the brain ages, as well as seeing what difference can we make to understanding of the brain disorders. I think I want to end by telling you a little bit about Genome India that Professor Padmanaban referred to. And I want to specifically thank Dr. Renu Swarup, who had this enormous vision of putting together a large program. So what started as an idea about 2.5 years ago in IISc slowly grew to be a consortium of 20 institutes, and with a goal to sequence 10,000 whole genomes of different ethnicities and genetic lineages in the country. And again, it was a question of sharing, working together, developing common protocols. And as we were taken through the process, DBT actually helped us through its review mechanisms for us to make our project far better, bring in good practices. And today I'm very happy to tell you that we have just completed the first year of the project, and in spite of the pandemic, made very good progress. And the institutions have come together. We meet once a month, we discuss, we talk, and we share. And I think that is something that I really want to thank DBT for. So in addition to the impact that it has made to our life as individuals, scientists, I think DBT has made an impact, tremendous impact on all of us in terms of how we share our resources, how we work together and collaborate, which is the new mantra in science today, in any case. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And once again, greetings to DBT and the enormous impact that DBT has had on Indian science. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Manju Sharma. Thank you very much, madam, for joining us for this very important day, the 35th Foundation Day of the department. We are pleased that you have been able to take out time from the NASI meeting that you have been chairing along with Professor Padmanaban. Professor Tyagi was next on the agenda. I hope Professor Tyagi is okay. We will request Dr. Manju Sharma to kindly deliver her address because she has to leave to go back to chair the NASI meeting again. So Dr. Manju Sharma obviously needs no introduction to an audience such as this. We only request Dr. Manju Sharma to kindly give us her address so that the department officials, the students, the researchers, the directors of the institute, all our faculty who have joined us can hear from you, ma'am, what has been your reflection on the department, but most importantly, how do you see the department moving forward? Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Renu. First of all, my heartiest congratulations and a very, very happy birthday to DBT, and my greetings to the secretary, Dr. Renu, and the staff and all the scientists. And I'm very happy to see Professor Balaram. You are here. I have not met him for ages, and all other distinguished scientists and directors of the DBT institutes, particularly Vijay, I heard her. Biotechnology journey over the years has been very interesting, very inspiring for the young generation, and very encouraging, and creating an ecosystem, a large, diverse infrastructure, very strong infrastructure rather, skilled human resource, and several partnerships, both national and international. So the journey has been really, really very exciting. We are all very well prepared today in the field of biotechnology to face any major tasks, challenges of the pandemic as well as the economy. Biotechnology Foundation was laid by the then Science Advisory Committee to the Cabinet, chaired by both Professor Swaminathan and Professor Manju, and later also approved by the Cabinet Committee on Science and Technology, which was chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister at that time. In 1982, we set up the National Biotechnology Board, which was a vision of many scientists of the country, some of the top bioscientists of the country. And after 4 years, it was thought necessary that we should have a full-fledged department. And thus, 1986, DBT was born. It was set up with great aspirations of the scientific community. And to a great extent, I would say, I see Professor Padmanaban here and also P. Balaram and many other people. So I think they will agree with me that to a great satisfaction of the scientific community, DBT did perform very well over the years. I would also like to pay my tributes at this time to late Dr. S. Ramachandran, to Vardhan, who have been really responsible for doing a lot in DBT. And also Professor VijayRaghavan, and earlier Dr. Bhatia was there, and now, of course, Dr. Renu. Before I proceed further, I have to say something, that DBT has had the best of the scientific community advice. Professor Padmanaban, Professor Balaram, and Professor Dr. Swaminathan, and then we have Professor P. Tandon, A.K. Sharma, and including at times Professor C.N.R. Rao, when we supported the JNC. And he was very, very favorable towards DBT. In fact, once he met me and he told me that he had told higher authorities in PMO that DBT was the best performing department at that time. It was, I don't remember the year. DBT has created a large number of facilities in the country, confocal, genome sequencing, proteomics, etc. And also large number of institutions, all that all of you know during this period. In 2001, the then Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was 100% supportive of DBT. And at that time, we got so much support nationally and internationally. Several programs in different countries were set up, and also a vision document was prepared, certainly with the collaboration and advice of mostly Professor Padmanaban, Professor Balaram, and we had Professor A.K. Sharma and many other scientists who had advised at that time. And this vision document, which is very important for DBT, I want to quote that. And Professor Padmanaban, you would kindly remember that it was you sat with me and we drafted this vision statement. Attaining new heights in biotechnology research, shaping biotechnology into a premier precision tool of the future for creation of wealth and ensuring social justice, especially for the welfare of the people, unquote. So this was our vision document. And then in 2015, biotech development strategy was prepared, and several large-scale multi-institutional programs were started. One very important feature of DBT has been that it has been working not like a typical government department, but it has been working with the advice and help of a large number of scientific community, very senior scientists plus younger people, many younger people. And Also, the unique feature of the department is subject-wise task forces, whether it is agriculture, biomedical research, bioinformatics, and industrial development, etc., etc., stem cell biology, so many areas, task forces. And a unique feature of DBT when it was set up was establishing a SACO, a Scientific Advisory Committee overseas. And this committee consisted of eminent Indian biotechnologists as well as many scientists like Professor Anand Chakravarti and Professor Dr. G.S. Khush and Inda Verma and so many others from abroad. This committee worked very well and helped us to develop several new areas, especially the, this genome program and the setting up of stem cell programs in the country with the help of Professor D. Balasubramaniam and many other programs, the DCIL, the industrial development. This was Dr. Anand Chakravarti's brainwave that we should set up that. So biotechnology had the benefit of having this Science Advisory Committee overseas for many, many years in initial phases. One important thing which DBT has taken note of is the regional imbalances. It has avoided that, and we have all over the country, starting from north to south, east, west, everywhere, some centers or the other of the Department of Biotechnology. In fact, many of you must have seen that map of India in which we show, and practically it is full of DBT centers, 75, 78 departments of biotechnology, all the autonomous institutes, the sub-DICs and the DICs in the bioinformatics sector, etc. In between came BIRAC, thanks to Dr. Bhan, his vision, and the great efforts, I must say, greatest efforts of Dr. Renu Swarup. Today, BIRAC is because Dr. Renu Swarup worked so hard, and Professor Padmanaban has been the main anchor, and he has been the main advisor, and what I would say, the Bhishma Pitama of all the biotechnology programs till today. From the time we started NBTB till date, thank you, Professor Padmanaban, for being with us in such a long journey. And he has advised the DBT, now he is advising the BIRAC, and I can go on when I talk about Professor Padmanaban's contributions. So, what I want to say, DBT has gone, according to me, just on the right path. It has done R&D, it has done process, product, technology development, industrial environment in the country. In fact, industry has come forward today because of this. You see, the most important thing in the pandemic, where DBT's contributions are really monumental, is the COVID, is the vaccine research. All the programs which have been initiated for the vaccines. And today, India is almost leading in case of both supply of vaccines, vaccine research, new ideas coming up, etc., etc. So, and we have already rolled out 2 vaccines for handling the COVID pandemic. I want to congratulate Dr. Renu Swarup and the entire staff of DBT for organizing such a wonderful event on the birthday of DBT. I can say with confidence, and this is my personal view, that biotechnology is probably the only field of science and technology. Science and technology, which deals with the basic minimum requirements of humankind, whether it is food, it is nutrition, health, energy, employment, etc., etc. We have made sustained efforts in these areas to ensure both the environmental and livelihood security. I would like to wish the autonomous institutions and the DBT programs, which are very progressive, they are very productive and prosperous, and they should form the future endeavors of the DBT for the welfare of this country, as per the vision document and the new strategy which DBT is formulating. So, best of luck, Dr. Renu Swarup, and your team, and all good wishes. And also, once again, I want to thank the scientific community of this country, the bioscientists of this country, who have supported DBT, who have advised DBT, and who have been with DBT from the day it was started. So it has been a very, very pleasant journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam, for your very kind visit. Over to you, Sanjay. Yeah. May I now call upon Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, former Director, DBT-NIPGR, to kindly deliver his attention. Professor Tyagi, please. Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, please. May I request you to kindly deliver your talk on our journey of plant genomics? Is he in the dashboard?
Just give me a second. I am connecting. Yeah, okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Professor Tyagi, we can hear you well. Please. We can hear you, Professor Tyagi.
I'm just starting. So, at the outset, let me Yes, are you able to hear me now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
You're loud and clear.
All right. So let me begin by congratulating DBT and all those who are associated with DBT on this particular day when we complete 35 years of existence and move ahead into the next phase. Now, this journey which I am talking today is not a journey of my lab alone. It's a journey of several labs which are working on plant genomics in India. And it started when DBT, in the leadership of Professor Manju Sharma, decided to start a program on high throughput genomics. And this high throughput genomics started with the sequencing of the rice genome, which was a technology which was existing at that time. And later on, of course, new next generation sequencing came in and tomato genome was sequenced. And subsequently, with the international cooperation, even the wheat genome has been sequenced totally by NGS. Now, this effort which has been done with the international community has been very well appreciated by Shri A.B. Vajpayee ji, because that was the time when rice genome was initiated. And this letter was written when the rice genome sequence was released by Japanese Prime Minister in Japan. And the delegation, which was sent from India in the leadership of Dr. Manju Sharma, is shown here, where you see Dr. N.K. Singh and Dr. Khurana, who were participating in rice genome, along with Dr. Charak from DBT. Of course, we could, after this effort, bring the international rice functional genomics in India. And here you see the inaugural session of that particular meeting, which was, of course, followed by another meeting on Seoul 2009, which was related with the tomato genome and all genomes of this particular family. And in this picture, you will see also Dr. Renu Swarup, which greatly helped in for taking it forward, and also Meenakshi Munshi, who was always with us in solving our problems regarding the issues related to tomato genome sequencing. This has been followed, of course, in the recent years by sequencing of wheat genome, as I said, and also the chickpea genome, which has been entirely sequenced by a group of scientists in NIPGR. Many laboratories in India have taken up the lead and have sequenced not only chickpea, but also pigeon pea, finger millet, pearl millet, tulsi, neem, mango, dark jute, and several other genomes. And this has established India as one of the prime center for sequencing of the crop genomes. Of course, we moved into the functional genomics, and we were able to follow the transcriptomics to establish what controls the development of a plant and how does it survive in the climate change conditions. Like this example, where there is a single gene which is communicating with the regulatory machinery, and it is initiated by 3 genes to control the development of lateral organs, seed, and anther. So that is how a plant body comes in place. Of course, promoters for seed-specific expression of the genes were established and are of great utility for improving the nutritional value of the seed and also to increase the yield. Simultaneously, regulatory sequences for anther were also obtained, and male sterile lines were generated, which are of great value for heterosis. Also, new families of stress-associated proteins were found, and these were deployed for improving the stress resistance in different plants. So far, this effort has made impact world over, and more than 5,000 genes have been functionally characterized in different countries. So implication is worldwide, not only in India. Of course, from there, we move to an area which is genomics assisted breeding, and most important for this was the rich source of variability, as is shown here in case of rice. And by analyzing this and doing the genome-wide association study, it was possible to identify 13 new genes which are related with the grain size in case of rice. Also, the genes for flood tolerance, drought tolerance, and salt tolerance were discovered, and these QTLs have been taken to the variety development because different regions need different varieties to be cultivated. So these resistance genes of utility for climate change conditions are to be incorporated in this variety, and a program from QTL to variety has been implemented. Also, bacterial blight resistance rice was developed, and then several genes related to this were pyramided. Not only this, now efforts are going on to pyramid bacterial blight with that of blast resistance and also with the salinity tolerance. There is a program initiated on rich collection of land races in rice in India to understand the biotic stress, abiotic stress, and other traits. In addition to that, I should say that work has not restricted to only rice, but in case of chickpea, for example, a variety which has got high protein content and has the more productivity and large size of the seed has been tested and approved by ECRIP. Also, other groups have worked on maize and have been able to improve it and have released nutritionally biofortified maize hybrid. This is another effort. I could also add to this the mustard genomics, which has been done ultimately to improve the glucosinolate, low uric acid, and white rust resistance traits. By combining 7 genes together, it has been possible to develop a mustard which has the quality similar to that of the canola. Thus, there have been several of these efforts which started with the idea of genome sequencing in India, which started in 2000, and several of these results have reached the fields and are in the hands of the farmer. I am told that about 3 to 4 million hectares of rice cultivation is being done by the varieties which are based on genomics assisted breeding. Now, while this work goes on in different crops, India is looking forward to participate in Earth Biogenome project, in which all the biota of the Earth, eukaryotic biota, would be sequenced. This is expected to help revolutionize our understanding of biology and evolution, conserve, protect, and restore biodiversity, and create new benefits to the society and human welfare. Even the genome editing by CRISPR-Cas, which is considered as the tool of the day, would be possible only if we have genome sequencing. Thus, we look forward to contribute to this program by sequencing 1,000 genomes, and DBT is expected to support it and continue to help the scientists in India so that we could move together, DBT and the scientific community of India, for the welfare of the people. Once again, thank you, DBT, and also congratulations for this much attainment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The day's agenda will remain incomplete without a talk on startup ecosystem. We will talk more on this by Dr. Deepanwita, Chattopadhyay, Chairman and CEO of KP Knowledge.
A very good morning. It's just going to be 12. It's a huge congratulations to Dr. Swarup for this tremendous achievement. It's so humbling to be requested to speak on the startup ecosystem and represent the entire startup ecosystem that we've been. Is my presentation, is my slide visible? If you're able to see it?
We can see your slide.
Yeah, thank you. If you're talking about the startup ecosystem, what DBT actually has done is picked up gaps and across the innovation cycle, right from idea to POC to validation to scale, and through BIRAC and its own programs have put up infrastructure, have put up capability, and we have the products and the knowledge that we see. If we talk of the output that we have received, the product, technology, and patent that we can see, the COVID times actually showed us fantastic results on that. If you look at the knowledge part of it, there's data, publication, and we are looking forward to much more data from DBT to take the research and innovation forward. It is important to talk of a few game changers. I've been associated with it's fortunate and humbling for me to be associated for a very long time with DBT, even before BIRAC was set up. And in 2007, 2008, the School of International Biodesign, it was at that time called the Stanford India Biodesign Program, was set up. There was no BIRAC, but what this program did was actually opened up a fantastic relationship between medical colleges, which was at that time we started with AIIMS and IIT Delhi. So how do you design medical products with the hospitals in discussion with doctors and the medical community? It was a game changer. I just picked up 6 game changers in this entire journey, which started, I would say, on the innovation front from about 2005, 2006. And then, of course, BIRAC was formed. It is the mother of all game changers because we are speaking today of the startup economy because of the work, tremendous work that BIRAC has done. The one that really built the culture was the Biotechnology Ignition Grant Program. The BRIC, which is basically the regional centers of BIRAC, there are 4 now. I've put the first one, which we are fortunate to have partnered with BIRAC to launch. So a regional innovation center is a concept that basically means that we partner with BIRAC to actually spread the culture of innovation throughout the country, across the country. That's again a game changer. I've not seen others do, other ministries, other departments do this. These are actually programs which I can say world over people like to emulate. Then, of course, I have to talk of the Grand Challenges India program, the partnership with the Gates Foundation. It looked at various kinds of social impact and tremendous impact that it has achieved. Of course, I have to talk of NBM. There we are talking of creation of specialized capabilities and functions. So the beauty of all these programs, initiatives that I talked of is about collaboration. So I think what BIRAC has given us and DBT has given us, and Dr. Swarup, I have to thank you because I've seen you from the beginning driving this program, is just not creating the ecosystem, empowering the ecosystem. I think that is the word I want to use. It's not about nurturing or creating, facilitating or funding an ecosystem. You have actually empowered the ecosystem. That is the huge contribution of DBT and BIRAC, I must say. The numbers are available on BIRAC website, so I'm not getting into the numbers, exact achievements. I just wanted to thank you. This is an occasion of celebration. So I have to celebrate that we are just one of the partners. And if you look at right from 2011, even before it was the BIRAC time, before formation of BIRAC, every year, with the and if not that year, there were 2 programs. We have done initiatives with BIRAC, and this is it. Even in 2021, we have already done. It's just not even 2 months, and the ICO partnership of co-developing COVID relevant solutions and beyond that we have partnered with. So it's so heartening to see how BIRAC and the culture comes from DBT, of course, how you actually engage the ecosystem partners. I would think engaging the partners is the mantra that you have spread. It is just not about doing it yourself. You could always do that because you can fund, you can do the policy, but what is important is actually engage a larger group of people who can deliver, who actually feel empowered, become empowered, and able to deliver themselves. So I know it is time, 12:15, the minister is going to come for the awards, and you would like to have a few questions. So I just want to say, on behalf of the entire ecosystem, thank you so much. This is a fantastic time for us to leapfrog. So I have picked up the tree that you represent, the tree that has all the roots that you've built, the trunk, which is the BIRAC, and of course the leaves and the fruits. So it's just spreading, and I want the banyan tree is a great example because it actually nurtures a very large ecosystem, and that is exactly, Madam, you've achieved. So thank you so much, Dr. Swarup, for that. I'll close my talk here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepanwita. In fact, at this point of time, I would like to convey to all the audience here that we have just received, you must have seen in between, I was getting onto the telephone, we've just received a regret from the Honorable Minister because he is in Nagaland and he was to join us from Nagaland. You see his office is still on there, which is not the DBT or Delhi office, that's his Nagaland office. But his helicopter has not been able to land so far due to some bad weather, and he is likely to be delayed. So on behalf of the Honorable Minister, he has asked me to convey the good wishes to everybody who has joined in. So we will continue with the function because we do not want to stop the function and proceed with the award straight after this. But thank you very much, Deepanwita, for this, and thank you to all the speakers, Professor Padmanaban, Professor Balaram, Professor Tyagi, everybody, and Dr. Manju Sharma and Dr. VijayRaghavan, of course. Despite their busy schedules, everybody has taken time to be part of this very important journey. I have a suggestion here that since we will need to move this forward and we had asked everyone to join in by 12:15, maybe we will have to do away with the interaction because I see it's already past 12 and we will not have too much of time for the interaction. So I will hand it over to Dr. Meenakshi Munshi. Thank you very much, Deepanwita, and thank you all very much. And so we will continue to see the Honorable Minister's office on the screen there, but he's not likely to join us. So over to Meenakshi, and we'll go straight into the award function. Thank you, Secretary Madam. As you all know, that department, since its inception, has instituted various awards to encourage and recognize the contribution of scientists working in various universities, research institutions, scientific organizations, national laboratories at different levels across the country. Various awards instituted by DBT are now considered under an overarching umbrella as DBT Bright Awards, which means Biotechnology Research Innovation Technology Excellence Awards. We will be presenting following awards to the awardees. These are Hargobind Khurana Innovative Young Biotechnologist Award, earlier known as IIBA, S. Ramachandran National Bioscience Award for Career Development, Janaki Amal National Biotechnologist Award, Biotech Product in Process and Commercialization Award, Tata Innovation Fellowship Award. Although I'm sure that most of you know about these awards, but I would like to give a brief about all these awards. When we talk about Hargobind Khurana Innovative Biotechnologist Award, who is not aware about the contributions made by Dr. Hargobind Khurana? So that's how DBT thought apt to add his name to this award. This Innovative Young Biotechnologist Award was instituted by Department of Biotechnology. It's an attractive research award to identify and nurture outstanding young scientists with innovative ideas and desirous of pursuing research in frontier areas of biotechnology. Young scientists up to the age of 35 years with realization for various categories of 5 years is there. The award consists of a research grant for a proposed innovative project and a fellowship of 75,000 per month for those people who are not on a permanent position. And for those who are on a permanent position, they get 1 lakh as an award money for next 3 years and a research grant in addition so that they can carry out the project proposed in the fellowship award. The next award is S. Ramachandra National Bioscience Award for Career Development. This award was instituted by the department way back in 1999 to recognize outstanding contributions of young scientists below the age of 45 years of age in basic and applied research in areas of bioscience and biotechnology, including basic research, agriculture, biomedical, environmental, and allied sciences. Up to 10 awards are given away every year. Each award carries a cash prize of 2 lakhs along with a research grant of 5 lakhs per year for a period of 3 years. We also have Janaki Amal National Women Scientist Award. This award, as the name says, is exclusively for the women scientists in both senior category as well as in junior category. In junior category, we give away 2 awards, and in senior category, we have 1 award which is given to a senior women scientist for lifetime contribution who has done excellent research in the country and has applied the results for the benefit of the society. Award carries a cash prize of rupees 5 lakhs. Under the National Bioscience Award Junior category, we have 2 slots. Each awardee gets a cash prize of 1 lakh and a citation and a research grant of 5 lakhs per annum for a period of 5 years. Then we move on to DBT Biotech Product Process and Commercialization Awards. As you all know, whatever research we do, it should reach to the common man. It should reach in the form of products or processes. So for this, DBT has instituted this award. This we have up to 5 awards per year to be given. It can be given for the recognition of outstanding contribution of scientists, innovators, entrepreneurs, Indian institutions and companies, both in public as well as private sector, for a new process, product development and commercialization of technology or a product in the area of biotechnology. Up to 5 awards are given every year, and we have this year also we have selected 5 awardees. When we talk about the Tata Innovation Fellowship, this is to recognize the contribution of scientists in various fields of biotechnology, life sciences, agriculture, biomedical sciences, bioengineering, translational health sciences, and related disciplines. This is a competitive fellowship to recognize scientists with an outstanding track record in biological sciences and a deep commitment to find innovative solutions to major problems in healthcare, agriculture, and related areas. Each awardee gets a fellowship amount of rupees 25,000 per month in addition to the regular salary, and a research grant of 6 lakhs per annum to do research, and he or she can use this grant for anything related to the work proposed in the project. And with this short brief presentation, I would request our secretary madam she will give away these awards, and request my colleague Dr. Dev Prakash. He will read the names of the awardees as we go along in this journey. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to Secretary Biotech and team colleagues who have joined this forum. So, already explained that the Department of Biotechnology has all the awards under an umbrella award, and we call the umbrella award as Biotechnology Research Innovation and Technology Excellence Award or BRIGHT Award. So under BRIGHT Award, we will start with the Hargobind Khurana Innovative Young Biotechnologist Award. And for the year 2020 and 21, we have filled all the 15 slots. And the awardees of this year is as follows. The first one is Dr. Asima Bhaskar. She is a DST Inspire faculty in National Institute of Immunology, and she has been awarded for her project. It means in IYBA, we actually, other than scientific credential, we also award the candidate based on the project proposal, and her project proposal is understanding the epigenetic regulation of T-cell response during tuberculosis. The next awardee of this category is Dr. Bhavna Muralidharan. She is assistant investigator in IISc Bangalore, and she has been awarded for her project deciphering the molecular mechanism of dysregulation caused by mutation in LSD1 leading to intellectual disability. Next one is Dr. Charanpreet Kaur. She is a DST Inspire faculty in JNU New Delhi, and she has been awarded for her project Prions and Stress Sensor in Plants, Role of DNA RNA Binding Protein in Regulating Stress Memory. The next one is Dr. Devbrata Laha. He is an assistant professor in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and he has been awarded for his project investigating the molecular basis of inositol pyrophosphate regulation Arabidopsis thaliana. Next one is Dr. Hamim Jafar. He is an assistant professor in IIT Kanpur, and he has been awarded for his project bridging the genome and transcriptional heterogeneity in oral cancer or identifying clinically relevant features. And the next person under this category is Dr. Himanshu Sekhar. He has been awarded for his project under ultrasound enable oncotripsy for breast cancer treatment. He is assistant professor in IIT Gandhinagar. Next is Dr. Jaspreet. Next is Dr. Jaspreet Kaur Dhanjal. He is assistant professor in Indraprastha Institute of Information Technology, Delhi, and she has been awarded for her project designing precision therapies for targeting cancer-specific synthetic lethal genetic interactions. Next is Dr. Jeevan Jyoti Panda, and she is scientist D in IISc Mohali, and she has been awarded for her project hierarchically organized amino acid core cell nanobowls with 2-photon response off-on switchable lids for light activable delivery of an array of antimicroRNA therapeutics in glioblastoma. Next is Dr. Manju Srivastav. She is scientist D in Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science and Technology, Tirunananthapuram, and she has been awarded for her project development of plasticizer-free acrylic denture soft liner using nanogel additives. Next is Dr. Gunjan Mehta. He has currently joined as assistant professor in Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, and he has been awarded for his project unraveling the functions of chromatin remodelers in meiosis. Next is Dr. Natesan Suresh Santi. He is Inspire faculty in Center for Brain Research at IISc Bangalore, and he has been awarded for his project Mitochondria and Lysosome Contact and its implications in neurodegeneration. Next is Dr. Nivedita. She is a DBT Belcom Trust Fellow in NVRC Manesar Gurgaon, and she has been awarded for her project modulating effective connectivity in the agency network of human. And next is Dr. Purva Mukherjee. She is assistant professor in Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Kolkata, and she has been awarded for her project developing a nature-inspired general approach for enzymatic synthesis of hybrid biopolymer peptide oligonucleotide conjugate. Next award goes to Dr. Rohan Jayant Khadlikar, who is a scientist officer D in ACTEC Mumbai, and he has been awarded for his project elucidating the effects of organismal aging on the signaling microenvironment in the niche stem cell ecosystem and its impact on immunity in Drosophila. And the last award of this category goes to Dr. Sami Ravindra Pandey, and he is assistant professor in IISc Bangalore, and the topic on which he has been awarded is lesson from bacterial warfare using microbial evolutionary RNAs for the identification of novel antibiotic resistance mechanism and antimicrobial strategies. So these 15 people has been awarded for the Hargobind Khurana Young Innovative Biotechnologist Award for the 2021. And the next category of award is the S. Ramachandran National Bioscience Award for Career Development. And this award, as Meenakshi Madam has already explained, for the to overall career development for the person of age below 45 years. And this has 10 slots, and we have filled all the slots. And the awardees are, first is Dr. Amit Awasthi from PHSTI, is the associate professor there, and he has been awarded for his research contributions in understanding the induction and effector function of T-cell subset in inflammatory diseases. And next is Dr. Biman B. Mandal, who is a professor in IIT Guwahati, and he has been awarded for his research contribution in the field of tissue engineering and regenerative medicine in human healthcare translation. Then we have Dr. Busra Atiq, who is associate professor at IIT Kanpur, and she has been awarded for her contribution towards molecular characterization of Indian prostate cancer, develop effective therapeutic intervention and strategies to overcome drug resistance in cancer. Then we have Dr. Dheeraj Kumar, who is a group leader in cellular immunology group ICGB New Delhi, and he has been awarded for his research contribution towards targeting post-innate immune mechanism to develop strategies for prevention and control of tuberculosis. Then we have Dr. Harinath Chakrapani, who is a professor at IISc Pune, and he has been awarded for his research contributions towards the development of chemical probes to dissect out complex biological processes in the cell. Then we have Dr. Phanindra Kumar Yalavarthi. He is Associate Professor IISc Bangalore, and he has been awarded for his contribution for the development of novel antifungal artificial intelligence method for improving clinical workflow in radiology. Then we have Dr. Ravi Manjithaya. He is Associate Professor in JNCSR Bangalore, and he has been awarded for his research contribution towards regulation of autophagic drugs from basic principles to therapeutic applications. And next is Dr. Swarup Datta. He is Associate Professor at IISc Bhopal, and he has been awarded for his research work for the study of environmental factors regulating plant development. Next is Dr. Sudesh Kumar Yadav from SIAB Mohali, and he has been awarded for his research contribution towards understanding the regulation of several metabolic pathways in plants and developed processes technology for value-added products. Then we have Dr. Swarup Kumar Parida, who is scientist 4 from NIPGR New Delhi, and he has been awarded for his research contribution towards next generation molecular under Ramachandran National Bioscience Award. And then we have another category of award, that is Janki Ammal National Women Bioscientist Award. And under this category, as Dr. Friend, we have 3 slots, 1 under senior category and 2 under young category. So the senior category award has been awarded to Dr. Mitali Chatterjee from Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research, Kolkata, and she has been awarded for her research contribution towards development of diagnostic and therapeutic approach against Kala Azar and post-Kala Azar dermal lesions by mapping the immune landscape. Under young category, we have two awards, and first one goes to Dr. Anindita Bhadra, and she is Associate Professor at IISc Kolkata, and she has been awarded for her research contribution for the understanding of the evolution of dog and human relationships through behavioral ecology. And next award under Janki Amal is to Dr. Neetu Singh, who is Associate Professor at IIT Delhi, and she has been awarded for her research contributions towards new imperatives in developing nano-based platform technologies for healthcare applications. So with this, we move to the next award, and next award is Biotech Product Process Development and Commercialization Award. And under this category, we can reward to a private individual scientist, private company who has commercialized or developed a product or process. So we have 5 slots under this category. So all 5 slots have been filled, and 3 awards has been shared. So we have total 8 people who has been awarded under this category. The first one is Dr. Ram Avatar Meena and his team. He has been awarded under team category, and he is a principal scientist at Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute Bhavnagar, Gujarat, and he has been awarded for the cultivation of Gralicidura in the seed and extraction of agros thereof. And next award is to Dr. Kajal Chakravarti, who is a senior scientist at Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, Kerala, and he has been awarded for developing and commercializing the nutraceutical product by the name of Cadalmin from green mussel extract or green algal extract, and as a green alternative to synthetic drugs to combat rheumatic arthritic pains and type 2 diabetes. The next award is to Dr. Naresh Kumar, who is a principal scientist at NDRI Karnal, and he has been awarded for developing spore-based technology for rapid detection of antibiotics, heavy metals, pesticide residue, and bacterial contaminants in milk. So this Dr. Naresh Kumar and the earlier award Dr. Kajal Chakravarti, they are sharing. And next is Dr. Rajan Sharma and his team, and he is a principal scientist from again NDRI Karnal, and he has been awarded for developing strip-based tests for detection of common adulterants in milk. Next award is to Dr. Bhabuk Gar from AIIMS, New Delhi. He is additional professor there, and he has been awarded for developing computer-assisted patent-specific osteotomy and drill guide for spinal deformities with the help of volumetric CT scan and 3D reconstruction model. Next award is in the team category to Dr. Deepti Gupta, and she is a professor at IIT Delhi. She has been awarded for developing Mama Pod assisted garment for kangaroo mother care. Next award has been given to a private company, Aspartica Biotech Private Limited, and the award has been given for development of pharmaceutical grade bioactive components from agri industry discard through a non-solvent and chemical free technology of supercritical fluid extraction. And this company will be sharing the award with Dr. Praveen Kumar Vemula from INSTEM Bangalore, and he has been awarded for developing a topical skin gel to protect farmers from pesticide-induced toxicity and lethality. So with this, we move to the next category of award, and that is Tata Innovation Fellowship. Tata Innovation Fellowship is given for the innovative ideas and meeting the challenge of big challenges in the science. With the upper age limit is 55 years under this category, and we have 5 slots under this category, and all 5 has been filled. And the first person under this category is Dr. Anjan Kumar Banerjee, who is a professor at IISc Pune, and he has been awarded for his research contribution towards investigating the dynamics of long-distance macromolecular signaling in plants for the improvement of growth and yield. Next awardee under this category is Dr. Deepanwita Chakravarti. She is a professor at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and she has been awarded for the in the lifestyle of bacteria and their evasion strategies and understanding the prevention of food contamination by bacteria. Next awardee under Tata Innovation Fellowship is Dr. Souvik Maiti from IGIB, New Delhi, and he is a senior principal scientist there. And he has been awarded for developing molecular tool for chemically modulating gene expression by targeting nucleic acid structure. Thus, he is contributing to our current understanding of drug development. And next awardee is under this category is Dr. Uttama Lahiri. He is associate professor at IIT Gandhinagar, and she has been awarded for her research contributions towards designing of smart wearable and portable devices that can quantify one's gait and address gait disorders. And the final award under Tata Innovation Fellowship awardee is Dr. Atul Kumar Johri, who is a professor at JNU in New Delhi, and he has been awarded for his research contributions towards the use of root endophytic fungus Piriformospora indica as a biofertilizer to improve cereal crop production and for sustainable agriculture applications. So with this, the award presentation under Bright Award is over. So over to Meenakshi.
Thank you, Deeprakash, and I congratulate all. Thank you, Deeprakash, and I congratulate all the awardees for their receiving this award. And now I would request our Secretary, Madam, to say a few words. My heartiest congratulations to all the awardees under the Bright Award. We've had these different categories, and I also take this opportunity once again to convey the congratulations on behalf of our Honorable Minister, who has from Nagaland conveyed his greetings to each of you who is the recipient of this award. The Department of Biotechnology has instituted, as Meenakshi said, awards over many, many years. Over the last 2 years, we were brought under the banner of Bright Award, Biotechnology Research Innovation for Technology Excellence. And I think this is what has been awarded today. Each awardee, whether it is under the Innovative Young Biotechnology Award or the Bioscience Career Development Award or Data Innovation Fellowship or the Biotech Product Commercialization Award or the Women Biotechnology Award, holds a lot of significance in terms of the basic research that they've done. And as I said from the beginning, from the basic research to the translational research, all of it gets covered under this particular award categories that we have. I would once again like to compliment you. I would also like to inform our awardees that this is not just an award recognizing your contribution, but this is also an award now where we have huge expectations from you. We are all confident that as you take your research, your process and product development forward, this is going to contribute hugely to the impact that the biotechnology sector is going to have, which we have discussed since the morning. And each of your research contributions is going to go a long way in taking this journey of biotechnology forward. We did hear about the importance of the basic research, how that helps us to create a very deep foundation, and how that then helps us to translate into the products and processes, which again you saw awards being given for. Today's awards also gave us a very good insight into how we have mix of the various research institutions, university ecosystem, young researchers, and also some of those who have ventured into what we were talking this morning about, the startup ecosystem. I hope that this continues, and I hope we can, through these efforts of recognizing excellence, build a very strong and deep foundation, more importantly, for our future leaders as we move into the next growth journey of the biotechnology sector. So once again, congratulations to each of the awardees. We wish that this was a physical event as we were doing each year. This year we've had to meet virtually, which is the new norm. So each of you will receive your award trophies as well, which could not be personally handed over through this virtual slide through which we could just exhibit your certificate. I'm also confident that once we overcome this pandemic and we are back into our physical meetings, there will be an opportunity to meet with each of you, where we'll also get time to interact with you all, and also for you to be able to share your experiences as the awardees. So good luck, congratulations on behalf of everyone in the department, and once again on behalf of the Honorable Minister, who could not join us being in Nagaland today, which he's not even been able to reach Nagaland so far. So good luck to each one of you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the congratulatory message. We now move towards the book launch. 2 books, an e-book on DBT fight against COVID from virus to vaccine, and a compendium on technology profiling, outcome of DBT-funded projects under Animal Biotechnology. I now request the Secretary, ma'am, Dr. Renu Swarup, to kindly do the honors.
virtual meetings have their challenges, so we can't do it as easily as we wanted to.
The camera on नहीं है, I can't see you.
करना है क्या?
Camera on कर दो.
Wait for the computer. Fine with us. The computer seems to have gone.
Dr. Swarup, I would like to take leave. I have to go to the classy meeting.
The computer seems to have to get that out. Thank you.
Yeah, I really want to congratulate all the minds. I'm sure the future is in their hand. All the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like to inform our whatever project DBT has supported over the years, we have tried to compile it in form of the technology compendium, where the research done also has been compiled together in this compendium. As of now, it is available, and we will soon share with all of you so that you can have a glimpse of what DBT had supported in early years and how that has made a big change and in the form of these technologies, and many of them have reached to the society at a large. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I congratulate everybody who has contributed to these various technologies, products, processes which have been brought out in both the books. Our DBT Fight Against COVID, which brings in what everyone has done from the DBT Institute, from our research consortia, from the various projects that we supported, and the second book on the technologies for the animal and livestock sector, again, I did. So congratulations once again to everybody, and Sandhya, over to you to close the proceedings of the day.
Thank you, ma'am. We've come to the close of today's anniversary celebration. I request my colleague, Dr. Vaishali, to propose vote of thanks.
PSA to the Government of India and former Secretary DBT, Professor K. VijayRaghavan, former Secretary DBT, Dr. Manju Sharma, Secretary DBT, Dr. Renu Swarup, distinguished speakers, DBT Autonomous Institution Directors, former advisors DBT, DBT Bright awardees, research, students, and my colleagues from DBT. It is my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks at the ceremony for celebrating 35th foundation of DBT. We are extremely thankful to PSA Government of India and former Secretary DBT, Professor K. VijayRaghavan, for joining us in celebrating the 35th Foundation Day of DBT and delivering a truly motivational address. I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the former Secretary DBT, Dr. Manju Sharma, for her inspiring address. Thank you, ma'am, for your unstinted support and vision in building this organization. I take this opportunity to thank all the distinguished speakers, Professor G. Padmanaban, Professor P. Balaram, Professor Vijayalakshmi, Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, and Ms. Deepanwita Chattopadhyay for delivering their talks on the exciting journey of biotechnology in India. I'm sure their ideas will inspire many young researchers and students who have joined us today for the celebration. I extend deep gratitude to our Secretary DBT, Dr. Renu Swarup, for addressing the August gathering and presenting the Bright Awards to the talented researchers. Thank you, ma'am, for your constant support and guidance. On behalf of DBT, I would like to once again congratulate DBT Bright awardees and wish them success. I thank DBT AI directors, retired DBT advisors for gracing this event with their presence. We are grateful to the large number of audience who have joined us today through YouTube. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our team at DBT, India Alliance, NIC, and MyRack for their support in organizing this event. Thank you so much.
We close today's program. I thank all the members of the audience for joining us on this auspicious day. Thank you.